Good evening, everybody. This is Encounters, the late night UFO talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. Welcome. Hey, Brim. Welcome, Shannon Ripley, everybody out there. Johnny the Third Kind. I like that. Good evening. Pretty Angel, everybody out there. This is late night on Encounters, the UFO talk show. Jan, good to see you. And please start doing the following. Start also pressing to share likes. We want to get up to 100,000 likes. We're going to go to 12:30 a.m. I'm going to try to get a little bit more disciplined instead of doing such a long show. An hour and a half, I think, will be good. We'll try to fit in as much as we can on the show, interview people. My brother caught a video of one over the Blue Ridge Parkway. Interesting. We need to talk about that. Definitely. And we're going to follow you, Crow Create, Sarah. You're going to be, Sarah, you'll be our first guest. When we start taking guests, you'll be our first guest. I'm just following you now. I want to hear that story. And of course, so many people around the world are having sightings of UFOs or spaceships. The increased sightings are happening. So we definitely want to hear your stories. I'm also the host of WESU's Sunday morning show, The Cosmic Eye. Liz, thank you for the roses. Cosmic Eye show, MercuryMan radio show for 21 years on WESU NPR radio every Sunday morning worldwide. So listen to my radio show in the morning. We also broadcast that on the internet, and also for the Connecticut River Valley people in the New England area and Eastern Long Island on FM, WESU FM 88.1 for our regional listeners. So we're going to be doing some interviews in just a few minutes. Please share and like. We appreciate it. Please tap that screen. There's always a few people that tap, but everyone should be involved in tapping. I try to make this a really active show. So I want to get to 100,000 likes by 12:30. Hey, Transcending, good to see you. Hey, Peter, good to see you. If we all work together, we can get to 100,000. And again, I want to increase everybody's numbers. If you are low on the totem pole in terms of followers, everybody follow everybody. I'm really big about uplifting everybody, even on this talk show. It's not just about me, it's about everybody being uplifted. So we definitely wish to make that happen. We'll be getting into some interviews in just a few minutes. If you wish to be a guest on the show, you have to have 200 plus followers to be on audio, 1,000 plus to be on audio and video. And please tell me what your story is about before we come on with you or put you on here. I want to know what you want to talk about related to disclosure, UFO sighting reports or sightings, and also visitations. So many people have had visitations. Deborah, thank you. Visitations from space people, non-terrestrial people. Hey, world needs more love. Good to see you. And so it's really a beautiful thing to hear your stories. Our show from last night is on our Ashtar Command Spaceship News page. That's on YouTube. My YouTube channel has all our shows that we are doing tonight. This show, of course, will also be on my YouTube channel. The show last night was phenomenal. So please join us. And we'd love to hear your stories. Think about what you want to talk about. Ekaber, good to see you. Good evening. Nyla's World, thank you for the roses. We appreciate the gifts. And please do what other people are doing. If you have TikTok coins and you want to do an unconditional gift, we appreciate that so much. The work we do here is very important, and we love having our guests on here. So we're going to get started. It's early. Usually by the time we get going, really, we have a lot of people in here. So please share if you know any POD who would be sympathetic to this kind of a show. We are a talk show. So we are not here to debate the flat earth or debate religion or debate people's mental states or whatever. We're here doing a talk show on Encounters, which is a real talk show dealing with the subject of spiritual UFO areas, not just nuts and bolts sightings, but all these different things that are happening now in terms of what's happening. Way New Angler, I think it is. Hey, good evening. Joseph, welcome to the show. Jack One Jones, user 828. And let's see here. So we have Rachael that wants to come on here too. We'll get to Rachael in just a few minutes. What I want to do is get to the person that I saw who had her brother see a UFO thing here. Let's see, where is she? Where is that person? She's here somewhere. Here she is. I just found her. We're going to try to get her on. Whoops. And I'm pulling up, I just, Create. Co-create, good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We're glad to have you. I saw your post on here on my show, and you're my first guest for the evening. So we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Well, my brother is unfortunately in jail right now, so I don't have that video, and I'm hoping that when he gets out soon that he'll still have it on his phone.
Hmm.
But he had the encounter back in 2021, and he was on the Blue Ridge Parkway outside of Asheville, NC, and it was really late, and he saw this light and it gradually got closer to him, and that's when he pulled out his phone because he realized it like wasn't normal.
Hmm.
And he showed me the video a week after that in person because he had sent it to me, but like when he talked to me about it in person, he said it like just hovered and would go like left and right and then back directly right over him. And people were driving by and he was so shocked that like nobody else was stopping to look at it with him, and he said he was like waving people down, but there's not many people on the parkway
Hmm.
late. And like in the video it looks like a star, like it reminds me of like the biblical stories of like Ezekiel's wheel,
Hmm.
to be honest. And it looked like there was like something in the center of it, like honestly looked like
Hmm.
a being, like a person.
A person like a space being in the center of the craft.
Yeah, but it was like this light, like it was very interesting. But there's many
Hmm.
Native American folklore about lights out
Mm-hmm.
here in the Blue Ridge Mountains,
Hmm.
and I've recently found out that the the Appalachian mountain range is one of the oldest mountain ranges on the whole globe. So
Really? I didn't even know that.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's
Wow.
spooky here for sure. I've had
It's
like other paranormal encounters.
So have you had beyond the paranormal, what about the ET levels? Have you had any experiences with extraterrestrial intelligence?
I've never had like in life experiences, but I had a really weird dream back in 2018 or 19
Mm-hmm.
where um it was like primitive times, and I was like in a village in my dream,
Mm.
and these spaceships came by, and we were by an ocean or like a huge lake, but to me I feel like it was an ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And so the group of people I was with, we went up to this hill, like this cliffside by the water. And like the dream was so long ago that I only remember like certain scenes.
Yeah.
But I woke up traumatized, very traumatized, because
Wow.
um there was this like monster basically that like picked me up by my
Hmm.
waist. Its hand was so big, it picked me up and it threw me against this hut, and I got away. I rolled off the roof of the hut and like ran around the side of it down this hill, and these people, basically like what I found out a few years later, like Nordic beings.
Mm-hmm. You mean
I
the
feel like they
Nordic
helped
space
me get
people?
away. Like they helped me get away. I don't know. It's strange because it's a dream.
It was a dream, yes. So we have to look at that as people watching this. She's talking about a dream. So it's interesting with dreams. Did you get anything from the dream? Like, did it give you any knowledge of? Sometimes dreams give you information that help you in different situations in life. And I was just
Yeah,
wondering if
there's
that
just
was something.
two different species of aliens.
Hmm.
One that was very bad and literally tried to kill me, and another that helped me and like I got away. That's
Hmm.
basically all I know.
That's an interesting dream because people definitely for all the times I've done shows, I've heard so many people talk about these cosmic dreams they have, which I call the reality state. So in that dream, you could have been in a parallel Earth or a parallel reality where that actually could have been a possible scenario where you had the positive beings and then the negative ones, and then the positive beings get in there and they basically in the dream, as you stated, they saved you from having that negative situation occur.
Yeah, for real.
Interesting.
I
And
do
the thing with
believe
this,
astral realm.
say again about Astro Realm. I'm sorry.
I do believe in it. I know
It,
that like when we sleep that we go somewhere else, but
oh
not
yeah,
so
the
sure.
astral traveling. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a thing called astral traveling, or actually going into a Merkaba state, which a lot of people, some in the audience here might know about, where you go into a Merkaba. Your body, you leave your body. Your Merkaba is your ship. You're like a living ship that can go anywhere, off planet to a specific star system, and that's called the Merkaba. Have you heard of the Merkaba?
Yeah, I came across it because I was reading about the Star of David in like
Mm-hmm.
ancient Babylon, and
Mm-hmm.
they used to call Babylon the Magic City.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
interesting.
Well, I'm glad you found my show. Is this your first time watching us?
Um, I follow you, so I've come across your lives a few times.
Well, good.
But
We're glad to have you here. This is like the number
yeah,
one UFO spiritual talk show on social media, so we're glad you're here.
thank you for having me.
And I'm following you. I appreciate your story, and I thank you for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to share on the UFO ET area, or is that pretty much what you wanted to say?
That's about it. I could digress for a long time.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's a good thing. Well, I'm glad you're here. Keep watching, and thank you. You're my
Oh, yeah.
first guest, Crow Create. And what's your first name?
Sarah,
Sarah, nice to have you on with us, Sarah. I
thank you.
appreciate you being here on Encounters. Everyone say hello to Sarah. Everybody follow Sarah. Everybody follow each other and watch here on Encounters. Thank you, Sarah. We're going to go to our next person. There's another person here. It was going to be my second interview here if I can figure this thing out here. What's going on here? Oh, come on. Now, here we go. Now it's working. All right. Whoops. What happened to my green screen? Hold on a second here. That wasn't supposed to happen. We're going back to the green screen. I see we're going to have to do this again. Alrighty. Things do happen. No, it's not going to let me do it. Well, I guess we're going to have to do this, folks. I'll try to get it not moving again, but bear with me. Do not get dizzy. And let me see. And we're going to have Rachael. Rachel's our next guest on Encounters.
Hey, Commander, how you doing?
We're doing good, Rachael. How are you?
Good. I've got some interesting things to say to you tonight. To let you know about. There's a lady
Okay.
that there's a lady that knows you by the name of Diane Husband. She follows you quite often, and she was explaining to me tonight that last Thursday, she was sleeping, and she had her phone shut off, and her phone started going through the lady that you have up with you, Fairy,
Yeah, Friends
uh,
with Furry. Yes, in
Friends
Vermont.
with
Yes.
Fairies. Yeah.
That's April.
Um,
Yeah.
yep. Her phone was shut off. She was dead asleep, and her phone started going off, and all of a sudden, um, it went to her phone and started playing all of her videos.
Are you serious?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Was that after I was off the air or when I was still on the air doing the
I
show?
think you were off the air, and it was
Really?
last Thursday night that happened. And Nightbird also lives with her. Nightbird is in the
Oh yeah.
convent.
Oh, Nightbird
Yep.
is so Nightbird might want to come on with us too. Does
Yeah,
she?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I want to Nightbird. Turn your switch your private to public on your however you do that.
And
Switch your.
Diane is right underneath. You can see Diane right underneath in the comments. Diane, the lady that happened to, is
Where's
right
Diane?
there.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yep.
Diane. Let's bring Diane up because she's the one that had it happen. We're friends, but you know what? I can't get her on live because she doesn't have a thing here. That's really weird. Let me see here. Can I get her on?
I don't know.
I can bring on the other person. Let's see, Nightbird. Nightbird, if Nightbird changes her setting from private to public, Nightbird, change your setting. I want to hear about this. This is crazy. I wasn't even on live and this was happening. I'm hearing some very interesting things. Let me see here.
And
yeah, you have to change.
Okay, so this even goes a little bit more crazier too. Lately, after I've been coming back in here and listening to your lives, my phone has also been going a little bit nuts.
Ma'am, you go with.
Hey, Diane. Good evening. We're also bringing Nightbird. These are people that have been having experiences after I've been off the air, off the Encounter show. So I want to hear each story. Rachel, you want to continue, and then we'll go to Diane and the Nightbird.
Okay. So with my experience with what's been happening to my phone, I will take in, like, let's for instance just say I take and call my daughter and I'm leaving her a message, and I'll do a voice message, like voice to text. I will take and do voice to text, and I'll say, like, Dina Hun, it's Mom. I'm going to take and contact you later. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. And then I'll put period, and it stops. But then my phone continues to talk in text without me speaking.
Oh my God.
Like another person is actually talking. Like, after I texted my daughter something like that, it went on to say, hey, John, I'm out in the parking lot, and I'm waiting here over by the front door. If you want to take and pull up, I'm over here.
That's really strange.
And it's right out of, and I'm like, where is that? Wait a minute. Wait, where did that come from? And another thing that I'm having with my phone, I don't know if I can show you. I'll try to.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so I'll save this. I'll turn on this, and I'll try to take in. I have been having grids on my phone, like grids.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can't show you. Okay. Let me see. Dum, dum, dum.
What she's doing, you're watching Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO show, and we're getting eyewitness reports of things that have happened galactically speaking. Rachel is now speaking, so we're going to turn it over to Rachel.
I am trying to take and get this, so I can get my picture that I want. Oh, wait. No, it's not doing it. I don't know why it's not doing it. Okay, here it is. Let me see. Might be that one. And then I think I press save. Why is it only doing the green screen? I don't understand.
Oh.
I'm trying to get that.
I've had problem with my screen getting this thing to stop moving like this, and then I can switch it back, but it's just one of those weird things with TikTok, I guess. I don't know.
I'm trying to get it so it's okay. Here's a picture of me. Okay, if you blow up the picture, in the background on the wall, you can see like those black marks on the wall. If you can blow that picture up, there's
let me see that. Hold on, I can do that.
It's like grids. It's like there's like grids in the wall, and it comes across my face and everything. It'll go across my face and everything.
Oh, wow.
But these are like that block on the wall, and all this is like grids. And some of it looks like, it almost looks like Morse code. There's like beep, 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 beep. And then there's there's like a pause, and then you get like other little dashes, and then pause.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird. It's really weird.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can switch myself here. Let's see what I'm doing. Settings. Let's see. Oh, I think I remember what it is here. Hold on a minute. Let's see if I can switch it over. Expand. Okay. So that's interesting. I just had to
Yeah.
remember how to switch it. So that's interesting. And I want to also hear Nightbird. What did you experience? Nightbird
I've had
here.
my drained. Um, my friend here, she had her phone turned completely off. We were both in the same room, and I was like, "Oh wow." Um, there's been some interesting things that have been happening, and
Hmm.
it's happened to Diane. So I'm going to let her speak on it.
Oh, that's really weird.
Also,
Somebody just popped.
Diane, talk about you know, the Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to and bring Diane. Dan, go ahead. My phone was acting weird. Like my phone's inviting people
Yeah.
without. I'm getting people invited on here without me doing anything.
Oh wow. Yeah, strange things like that have happened or my phone
It's
freezes.
happening right now.
Can't get
It's
out of
happening
it.
to me
So
here.
yeah, that's happened to me a lot as well.
That's
The
really
strange one
wild.
is with Diane here. I'll let her speak.
Well, Commander, last Thursday night after your live was over, I
Mm-hmm.
turned my phone off and I was asleep. And about 2 hours or so into it, I woke up with my phone on with Friends and Fairies videos going off.
Are you serious?
Yes. And I tried to tell y'all in the chat the next day, but y'all were occupied. And it really bothered me. There was something strange going on.
Yeah, I can't, I can only tell from my perspective, not to get people going freaking out, but the planet itself is resonating at such a high frequency now, more than it ever has been. And I will say this, that our
I
space
did
friends are,
I
say
did
again,
hear it
Nightbird?
on her. Yeah, I did hear her phone in the middle of the night and I thought she was just up really late. So I
Yeah.
can attest to that. It really did happen. And it was on the Friends with Fairies.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm glad to be doing interviews here. And I know Gadico, who and I have worked together off planet, from a space perspective. The space people don't really understand that we have phones. They know we have phones, TV sets, and all these things, but they don't know how the energy from what they do affects our technology. They really don't. It's just they understand little certain things about that. They're very advanced on a spiritual level, but it's just one of those things. Like when I said that started happening to me when I first had contact with Billie Holiday, I jumped out of my seat here because I didn't know what was going on. Once I realized it, I had to take time to meditate, and then I got relaxed and started understanding it was a long lost space friend that I had worked with. You know how we talk about being starseed and we're all from other places, and we all have star family. So my star family found me, and now hearing your stories, what's going on, I don't think it's intentionally done to scare anybody. I would have to there are just it's I don't know how to answer the question. I don't know how to answer what's happening. Does that does it sound right to
Right.
you?
No, I understand what you're saying. And I was just kind of curious if this is happening to anybody else in the room. Is their phone going kind of wonky, and are they experiencing things, that not only just your phone, but are other things happening in their home?
Mm.
Yeah, you are too, Nikki. Yeah. And I mean, it's just really off the wall kind of things. And Brim, yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, and this is where I asked about the nuclear silos around the planet. You know, our it's a mixed reaction of people what they're saying in terms of reading the comments. So I talked about how when our star family comes, whenever that total contact comes, you know, could all the nuclear missile silos be that are active be shut down electronically? And they said they could be. Now, if you imagine your phones can be turned on or music can play through your phones from galactic levels, they can actually take your phone and galactically turn it on, you know, and they could, um, or they can do Morse code or whatever. Look at it from the perspective of if they can do that, one spaceship has the ability to play with electronics on Earth. They can also shut down all the nuclear missile silos. And I asked that question, but I think it takes more than one ship to do it. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. It's just it's amazing what's happening here, isn't it?
It really
If you
is.
look if you look at it from a positive aspect and don't freak out, look at it from the perspective without fear and understand amazing things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Absolutely.
something, you know, we all talk about, and it's new for me too in some ways too. We all talk about, like, you know, when are we going to have this connection? When are we going to ever have this connection? And now that we're having it, there are people, honestly, that are going to freak out because they don't understand what's going on, and that's a human reaction. But when you get into the cosmic spiritual you, what is that reaction? Once you start getting assimilated and used to the fact that something's happening, now you have to meditate and say, just slow down and take a deep breath and say to yourself, okay, this happened. Let me try to understand what's being communicated here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we
And
can,
I'm hearing a lot of people that are experiencing this. This is why it's very eye-opening for me.
yeah,
And other people too that are connecting in small groups that are being like, well, my phone's doing this, or I'm experiencing this in my
right,
house, and this is odd. Why is this happening? And it seems like every day that there's like a little bit more and more and more of people that are experiencing this. There's quite a few people in the room that have
right.
said that they're experiencing things as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. What was that?
That was a ding. That was my phone dinging.
Oh, I just want to make sure. Okay, I don't want anything weird going on cosmically
That was a
speaking.
ding.
I've caused enough trouble with this show, you know, and then I'd have the DOD come after me for this, and you know, yeah, and see, you know, this is the thing. I started this show out to be just a regular every night kind of UFO spiritual talk show. I didn't plan any of this. You can't plan any of this, folks. And I don't want anyone to blame me for what's happening to their electronic devices. I have
Right.
nothing, you know,
Okay.
and what's ever going on galactically or cosmically with your electronic devices, you know, now you know, now you know that things are real. You know, now you know that the galactic levels are real, right? I can't make any of this up. I'm interviewing three of my friends here on the show. I love doing interviews. I'm glad to do interviews here. You know, it's just, you know, I'm sure if the government is even aware of what's happening here on TikTok with this thing, I don't care if they know. I really don't. You know, I've weird things are happening. You know, I can tell you the energy level in my body since I've had contact, the energy frequency has gone. How do you guys feel? Have you felt you're like bubbling? You have this energy, just like this incredible, intense energy coming through that's even higher than you've ever had before. Anybody?
I have been having that. Matter of fact, yesterday I had a really bad migraine, and it wasn't my usual way of having a migraine, and my whole body was aching, and it felt
Yeah,
like it was coming from me.
right.
Um,
So, and I also know if people are having like tough experiences with all this energy,
and ears
understand.
popping.
Yeah, your body has to let go of the old energy is in your body still. A lot of people have this old energy on Earth, and so that's sure you're going to have discomforts and stuff. When you let go of that, you know, for me, I can only speak for me. I've not had any discomforts at all, but I've been feeling intense energy, like it's like I'm ready to take off or something. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah, I've been
Every
having a hard time sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's going to have different experiences. Let me see
And
here what's going
Diane
on.
told me yesterday that the sending thing that's happening, people are feeling this kind of way. So I'm sure there's many more in the room that has been feeling
Oh yeah, and I don't want to
way
be
that
blamed.
they're
I don't want anyone.
sending.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
blamed for any of this. Again, I'm having experiences too, and everyone's going to have different experiences. And the one thing I've learned as you're talking about this, is that whatever you're going through, whether it's you feel achy or whatever, no one's doing it to you. The energies are so intense that your body's reacting to it. So you have to work on meditating up people out there. If you're having these things, you need to work on whatever that is. Fear, if it's fear based, if you have like discomforts, you got to work on the energy on your body. You got to get in there and start looking at yourself and saying, why do I have this stuff happening to me? No one's doing it to you. You're having it happen.
Yeah,
Do you
I
hear
think that
clicking?
it's happening because we're going through a process of ascending,
Yeah.
and that's us just reacting to it because there's quite a few people that have been having experience that kind of way.
Okay.
But we
Commander Brim wanted to come up real quick too.
Yeah, I'll
He
bring
had
Brim up.
something to explain.
I just want to make sure I'm very technically trying to make sure nothing else is happening here. Like, did anyone just hear clicking or tapping?
I did. Yeah.
I
I
did.
again,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
I heard
now
a lot of tapping.
I wanted you to know nobody blames you for it.
Okay.
I just did not know what was going on, and it shocked me. And specifically, the video that was on was where Gattaco was talking to Friends of Fairy's daughter in the car,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought
Yeah.
that was unique.
Yeah. It was that video. Yeah, I have that 2-minute video. Everything we've done here, we've documented. Most of you have been here since this all started happening.
Absolutely.
And I want people to know every one of you you either already have somebody you're in contact with, a star being, whether it be in your dream state right now, and that might be the way it's starting. But I guarantee you, no one's left out here. Everyone's going to have at some point a direct contact with some star family that you're connected to in reality, in a real state. I mean, it's going to just happen. There's no way around it. You might start getting discombobulated for a minute or two when it starts happening and saying, what's going on here? But that's the mind working on you. You have to just realize this is the time we've been all. Do you hear the clicking? Wow.
That's me.
Oh, okay, it's you. All right, Rachel. I just want to make sure. Okay, Rachel was clicking, not anybody else. All right, so she's clicking. That's really weird. But you're clicking still?
Yeah.
You're typing or clicking something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let me hold on a second.
Yeah, it's Rachel. She's clicking, folks.
I'm clicking.
Thank,
I'm clicking.
thank goodness it wasn't like happening, you know. Yeah, she was clicking. So there you go. It wasn't Godico, she was clicking. All right. So yeah, it's just we all have to realize that we're being activated. That's what it is. It's activation. If you're not going to face the activation is going to come to you. So, if sure, because this story is related to what's happening. If you're having your TV go on or stuff, it's telling you to wake up. It's telling you to like, hey, wake up. This is happening. This is real. We want you to wake up.
I think a lot
Whether
of
it's
us, especially in this room, yeah,
yeah,
we're definitely awoken.
oh yeah, we are I mean, we do have a few people that are just curious and are learning, but you're right. Most people here are pretty tuned into what's happening here. I think most are. It's just one of those weird things that as we interview people like Cree and others, we find out people are having all these experiences. And I think that's really, whether it be 10 years ago, whether it be 5 minutes ago, whether it be whatever, Yeah, we got to live in love. And like James says, we all have to realize that we all are equal here and that everyone here is going to have contacts. And the one thing I've studied in my years of contact before the internet was that once you wake up, everyone's going to wake up. It's not one person. And that's why, I tell people never follow anything or anything on the internet. You wake up, you be your own person, you have your own contacts, and it's a communal experience for everybody. It's not just one person. We all have to realize that what I'm doing here is just that I'm just facilitating a talk show and bringing people together. But at the same token, I want people to be able to realize that they are liberated individually and they are having their own experiences, which I think is beautiful. And I think and like you're saying, James, we got to live in love. And that's exactly, if we can learn to live in love, then we're really doing a beautiful thing in terms of breaking the matrix. Once we break the matrix, we live in love. I think that makes a big difference. DZ says, I've had 3-year awakening. It was absolutely amazing, you know? And I think that's the, key thing as we're sitting here talking with each other, just realizing that we have come together. There's no coincidence that none of us has found each other here on the show. It was bound to happen. And everybody here, new people, old people of the show for the last year, we have a really strong awakened community of people like you guys and just other people around the world. I think we're in a better place than we were 30 years ago on the
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah,
You know,
because you had when the other night when I was in here, you were saying that too, that it's come a long way. And, there are still a few people that are afraid to come forth, but there are a lot more coming forward too,
yeah, there
with
are.
their stories and feeling more comfortable
Yeah,
and, letting people know that, this is a safe space where they can come and, and they're not going to be shunned from what they have experienced and what they've dealt with. And it's a
yeah,
wonderful space to come and do that. This is actually one of the first spaces that I've actually seen where people can actually come and talk about their experiences and be open about it and get
yeah.
support for it.
Yeah, and when I came here for my radio show, and people told me on Facebook, you got to go on TikTok. At first, I said, "Oh, TikTok, I hear it's a bunch of kids, makeup artists, and people being famous for that." Saying, let me, but I took a look at it. I meditated on it, and I didn't know what I was going to do on here, whether I was going to do an Astro Command deal or whether I was going to do an actual, UFO spiritual talk show, like in terms of my radio show for 21 years. I decided to go full head after experimenting. I said, you know what? There's a void here that's not here. I need to do a spiritual UFO talk show that encompasses positivity and letting people share their experiences regardless of what they are. And that's exactly what I did. And it's taken off because, you know, it's just the way it's supposed to be for me. That's is what I'm supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Like transcending Granny said, there's just no judging, just love, love, love,
Yeah,
you know,
you know,
and understanding of what everyone has experienced. I love hearing these stories. I love
me too.
hearing these experiences that other people have had. It just sets it. There are sometimes I am just sitting on the edge of my seat,
Yeah.
you know, just listening to what people have to say.
Yeah, me too. I love hearing all the stories from people seeing, plasma beings, which I never knew too much about, or, light beings, or, whatever it is, or having ships real close to their vehicle. We've heard so many stories since last year. I think disclosure is encounters. We've heard so many beautiful stories, and not everyone's had a great experience. Some have had abductions, others have not. But that's the world of the subject, which is coming, covering the whole, honestly covering everything uh, that's going on with people. I think that's really important too.
Yep. Yep, that is. Yep.
Yeah. So
My
I'm glad you
son.
guys are here.
Yeah, my
You know?
son had his experiences when he was very young, and he had those experiences, and it went until he was in like middle school, and
Mm,
then they stopped. He went through high school. He really wasn't bothered with any encounters.
mm-hmm.
Um, then he graduated in Texas, and he went right into the military. And then after he got out of the military, then that's when he had another experience.
Wow.
And he
I'm also,
believed that, well, he believed that it was actually one of, because he always had two. He said there were two little grays that used to come and get him, and one was a male and a female, and they would talk to him telepathically. And he said that the one that he's seen, he goes, was the older gray. It was by itself, and he appeared to be older. He goes, I didn't think that.
mm,
And I mean, he was shooken. He was quite shooken at that experience, which kind of
yeah,
shocked me because him growing up and being so adamant about it, and him talking about his experiences and what they were showing him, and him seeing other children, that were being walked to the ship at the same time at the
mm-hmm.
craft. And I mean, some of these other children he went to school with, he said, and he knew
Yeah.
them. And
Wow.
he goes, and for him and some other children, it was more of a teaching. They were
Yeah,
teaching them and showing them things.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, and Brim will be, I see Brim in there wants to come up. Brim will bring you up in a few minutes too, brother. So we've got a few people in here. We have Jennifer, Arcturian, Arcturus or Arcturian, I think it is. I didn't get all the names. Uh, and this is weird. My screen is telling me invite. It pops up with an invite thing saying to invite certain people. It's kind of weird, but I want to thank Arcturian for being here, and then we'll get to Jennifer. Good evening, Arcturian. Welcome to Encounters. There you go.
Hello, good Germany. It's just getting morning and the day is just starting. I'm so happy to be around. I'm really in love with this contact and all the videos you're posting. I even had the possibility to witness one or two live encounters with UFOs, so I'm really amazed. As you can see, I'm channeling from the Arcturian primary universe. Yes, basically everybody can contact Arcturus because Arcturus is the system itself, but an Arcturian individual as well can be called Arcturus basically. So what I would like to share is, of course, that the aliens already are there. Yes, we are traveling in Merkabahs. You can see it in your screen right now. It's my Merkabah being sucked in by your camera. I'm sitting in front of my smartphone. You can't see me, but you can see my Merkabah sucked in the lens right here. So obviously I'm an extraterrestrial in your handy right now.
And you know what? We are all star beings, Arcturians. So we are all, you're very right on the money in terms of what you're saying. You're in your human form, but like I said to people before, we're not just humans having a human experience. We're truly here using this shell of a human form, but we're really star people. We can't, as we got older as kids, we start remembering. I'm sure, Arcturian, when you were a kid, you probably had been activated at some point where you remembered who you were growing up, and then you get fully activated. And I think we all can agree that everyone here is a beautiful individual being of light within the human form, and we're all here to do mission work. You all volunteered to be here. When I came to Earth from the Ashtar Command realms from Mars, I was fully activated, and they didn't let me forget it. That's when I talked to my thing with the spaceship when I lived on Long Island. They physically were right there. I wasn't dreaming it, and they said, this. So I think everyone has had different experiences all over the world. Arcturian, what country are you in right now? What country? Which country are you in?
Germany.
Oh, Germany. Yes, we have some friends
Germany
over there.
in the pot. Called the pot.
Yeah, Germany
Oh,
has
really?
Germany has a lot of
Nice.
sightings too. That whole European area, quite a few sightings. Bill, thank you for this, the superpower. We appreciate it. Yes, there's a lot of activity all over the world right now. I'm sure in your part of the world, people have had well, sure you have, and I'm sure other people at C5 groups in Germany have had connections with the star people showing their ships, and that's going to increase. It's very interesting. We also have Jennifer in here. Jennifer, welcome to the show, Jennifer. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's my second time being on here. And I want to say hello to my ladies. I love you and I miss you. I love your show. And I just wanted to share a quick experience that I had. It wasn't space people, but I can't wait for that day. It was an experience of worthiness because I've always thought or said that I was worthy of whatever it may be. But on the 25th of this month, it was 31 years, what is it called? Anniversary of my daughter passing away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And that day is usually a hard day for me. But this time, I got a brand new car, and my mom helped me lease a brand new car. And I was so freaking nervous, so nervous. And I don't know why, I even started crying because I was so nervous. And that evening, I went to a sound bath, a Reiki sound bath. And before they did this, before she started the music or the instruments, she tells you to call on your guides and your angels, or your spirit family, and so I was doing that, and I was telling myself, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. And all of a sudden I got these chills from head to toe, and this happiness that just, I could almost burst out with just happiness. But the room was full of people, and I didn't really want to disturb everybody else's meditation. But since that day, well, I got the new car and my business. I have my own massage business, and it's growing. I mean, I got 5 people in 1 week.
Wow.
And usually I don't have hardly anybody in 1 week.
Oh, wow, Jennifer. That's good.
Yes, right. And it's just been really kind of transforming, I suppose. And then tonight, when I came on your show, I was at Monsook's show. And
oh yes, Manzook's in here tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I came on your show, I kept hearing another show, and so I jumped off your show to see if I could cut off that show, and I couldn't find it. And something, I guess my
That's
guys
weird.
told me to check Instagram, and it was freaking Instagram that was coming through. And
That's weird.
she was talking about crystals and all this other stuff, and I'm really into crystals, but I didn't want to hear that right now.
Right.
I wanted to watch your show, and so it was
Right.
really irritating. And then I walked outside, and I heard a big screech, and a big owl flew over my head.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That's a beautiful.
Yes.
Owls are beautiful.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that, and that's all I have to share.
Well, that's a beautiful story. You know, it seems like things are beautifully
Thanks
vibrating.
for sharing.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
it is a beautiful
It
story.
sounds like everything is coming into alignment with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
Everything
right.
is just, and owls are such a blessing. That's
Oh,
a
they
beautiful sign.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with the crystal, even with the programming of the crystal being on your phone as
Yep.
you're trying to come in here, even that being said, is you got to pay
Big.
attention to those
Yeah.
because you're being told something for a reason. That's
Yes.
beautiful, Jennifer.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is.
I think
I love
that
owls.
hi everybody. I
Hi.
think that that's amazing because Gotta Go actually is amazed
Hi.
with the commander's crystals.
Mm,
And so that might have been his way of like saying hi to you.
right, because I wanted him to say hello to me.
And that might have
Oh,
been his
wow.
way of doing it. He has
There you
funny ways
go.
of giving us messages.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, Friends with Fairy, there's something that Diane, I don't know if you were in here listening,
I
but
was.
you was. What do you think about that?
I think I'm like I said, Godico has strange ways of telling people things. I mean, he picks songs to give us messages. He does things to like my electronics to send messages. And with the commander, he leaves his electronics alone because for specific reasons, and it's because he doesn't want to disrupt his show so he can get his messages
Right.
across.
It took me a while to figure that out, but I think I've gotten to that state of mind.
But
Wow.
he has sent like messages
So
across to
charging.
all of us, to everybody in the commander's, audience, that everyone that he feels like he needs to send a message to, he is somehow, some way getting these messages across, and I think that that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and that's why I said earlier, I take no responsibility for that.
He did say that. I will concur. He did say that.
I did
And
say
please,
that.
can everybody help me tap? Because my finger's starting to cramp up.
You're funny.
Yeah.
I want to say back when I worked at DIA, that's Denver International Airport, that was the
Mhm.
first time I had seen anything flying around in the sky. And I could actually hear the tower over a radio, and they were freaked
Really?
out because they're trying to land the planes. And things like that have been happening in Denver.
Wow,
And I
that's really
also had
weird.
experience up in Blackhawk, Colorado, up in the Rocky Mountains. So I've seen these things for a while.
Yeah, she's echoing.
It's really
Okay, you're
true.
echoing.
That's probably because somebody else's phone was by me, but
Okay.
now they're. I'm trying to
Uh-oh.
charge my phone right now, and it doesn't want to charge. I'm at 33%. So
I just want to say something. If weird things start happening tonight, I have no responsibility whatsoever for it.
He's calling it
you
already.
put a warning band across your thing. I am not responsible for it.
I'm not. Whatever galactic things happen to you folks, do not blame me for it. I'm just here
Now,
as a
I
host.
gotta
We're just
tell you something
saying,
else too
you know.
that is really kind of interesting, and I think Diane, if she wants to share it, her husband and herself, and I don't know if she's shared this with you already, and I know that you've talked about this in the past, but her and her husband have experienced Bigfoot.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she's talked
really?
about that. Yeah,
Did
I've heard
she?
her Bigfoot stories are beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
matter of
That's
fact,
awesome. That is
yeah,
awesome. My
and
my Bigfoot friend is they're actually, if you don't approach them all crazy, like start chasing them or anything, they're actually pretty friendly beings. It's just they get startled very easily by humans because, we've done horrible things to them.
yeah, yep,
And we've, hunted them for so long. It takes them a little while to earn their trust, but they are some pretty lovely beings. There's
yeah,
another creator on here, and he sees them all the time, and he posts videos of them all the time. So I mean, they are actually very lovely beings if you give them a chance, and don't startle them.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's amazing. I mean, I have a very
I've heard,
go ahead, Arcturian.
I've heard that we all would have been Bigfoot if the Anunnaki would have not been put some consciousness genomes in our DNA. Is that correct?
Not really, because the Bigfoot are
So they are our brothers, basically.
the Bigfoot are separate
No? Okay.
entities. We all come from different star systems. The Bigfoot
Okay.
have been here on Earth for they're interdimensional
Okay.
beings. So we wouldn't have been Bigfoots. We all came from other planets. We would have been star people from other planets, like whether you come from the Ashtar Galactic Command Realm, whether you come from all the Christed realms of planetary systems. So no, we wouldn't be Bigfoots. Bigfoots are their own beingness. So just like we are our own beingness. So they're separate. They're separate, and yet they are connected with all of us, and we're really connected with them. but they are separate. They are intelligent, but yet we call them Bigfoot for lack of a better term of who they are, but they are actually intelligent. They have families. They have intelligence. They're not they're not non-intelligent. I think there's a lot of, and I know Friends with Furries and Diane can speak that the Bigfoot are or the Sasquatch or the what do they call it, the Himalayan mountains, the one that's there, the abominable snowman, whatever you call it, they're all part of the same. They might look different. They might be different types of beings of Bigfoot or whatever, but I think they're all intellectual. I mean, they're all spiritually or I think in mind wise, they all have an intelligence, although they don't speak English and they might like make a sound. If we were to approach them in a very peaceful way and try to communicate, we might start to learn what their language is, because they do have a language,
Oh
but
yeah,
all we hear
they
is
speak several
the
languages
Yeti.
actually.
Yeah, they speak several languages. So I think we, as humans, don't have an understanding of who they are. We know we've seen pictures of them. We just really don't know who the Yeti. That's person said Yeti, and that's the other thing. So there's different in down south. They have different names for the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch from different traditions, but they're all part of many different. I think the Bigfoot are really cosmic entities or
Yeah, they are.
beings.
They
They're
originally
not.
came from space. They came with the ETs. The ETs, some of the lower vibrational ones were using them to like bodyguards type deals, and they actually ended up staying here on Earth, and started working with the higher vibrational ETs, and now they work only strictly with the higher vibrational ETs. And they love it. They love it here on Earth. They have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, and this is coming from Pumpkin, which is my Bigfoot friend, and he's a lovely being, and his mother actually just had a baby.
Wow.
Her name is Rosebud.
Wow, that's a beautiful name, Rosebud, for a little baby Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've got pictures of her. She's super cute. The fairies were actually watching her.
So, and with Friends with Fairies, April, she has fairies that she's documented. They're beautiful. The Bigfoot that lives, that's friendly. The family of Bigfoots that live on her property in northern Vermont. She has had so many stories, and all of you individually, like Diane. I remember her stories. Diane, you had some major. You talked so much about the Bigfoots there, and that you weren't afraid of them. And I thought that was. Can you share just a little bit about that history again for people that might not have heard it? You've really had some direct contacts with them.
I have. It's one of the amazing contacts was with my husband when he was alive. He was an avid hunter, and he had a deer blind, and it was about 1.5 miles from our home.
Mm-hmm.
And at sunset, he didn't come in. And I was worried about him, so I got in my car and went up to where his gate was. Well, I knew that I couldn't get into his gate, so I just kind of squeezed in and started walking toward his deer stand,
Mm-hmm.
because I was afraid he may have fallen or something. And I had only gone a little ways when all of a sudden my husband came running out. And he wasn't a runner. He just didn't run.
Yeah.
And he grabbed me and he said, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I thought he'd gone crazy. I said, what in the world, Dwayne? And anyway, so we got to the car and he said, drive, 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 drive now. And so I pulled out and I said, well, look, you're going to have to tell me what's going on, because you don't act like this. And he said about 3 hours before, he was at his stand and all of a sudden a Bigfoot came up to his stand and leaned against it.
Oh, wow.
And he said the smell was horrific.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get out of his stand because of this Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Well, when I pulled up at the gate, Dwayne heard me, and he got scared because he knew I would walk in there if I didn't. And as soon as he heard my car doors shut, the Bigfoot eased off of the stand and took off.
Oh, wow.
That's why Dwayne was running. He was running to try and get to me because he was afraid that Bigfoot would come up to where I was.
Yeah.
And we went home, but he never went hunting again while he was alive.
Wow.
That
That was a transformation for him, Diane, when he was alive, wasn't it? Like he went from being a hunter to having a revere and a respect for the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch.
he was an avid hunter.
Yeah.
Now, first time that I ever saw it, I was going to work one morning, and it was about 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up to a stop sign fairly close to our home and turned left, and for some odd reason, I felt something looking at me, and I looked up in my rearview mirror and then put my brakes on, and there was a Bigfoot walking across the road about, I don't know, a quarter of a mile from where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And when I stopped, it turned and faced me. And it was about 2 feet taller than my car.
Mm-hmm.
And it went shoulder to shoulder with my car.
Yeah.
You know. And now,
Wow.
the truth was, I was terrified. And because my husband asked me, well, why didn't you come back home? And, I could have come up there with you. And I said, because he could have made it through that road before I could have got home.
Yeah.
But that evening, we went back to where I saw it, and my husband took plaster cast of its feet.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it was huge. My husband wore a size 12. And it was much, much larger than my husband's foot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
it was amazing.
MercuryMan in the audience, Diana, and friends, because you've had the experiences. Some people mentioned they had too. He captured a picture of a juvenile. They trust me. So he's in Vermont too, MercuryMan. He's down where I used to go to college in Plainfield, Vermont, and there's a lot of wooded areas out there where he is, and I know that
there's
area.
actually quite a few of them out here, quite a few small families of them all over the place out here.
Yeah.
I'm actually in contact with somebody else who is also has a Bigfoot friend, and his friend he doesn't have a name for him, but
Yeah.
his friend leaves him tools to
Yeah.
help him in his farm. And he's left him several gifts for him to use, and the Bigfoot has left the man gifts, and the man has left him like little rounds of cheese and things like that, and like they love cheese for some reason. Cheese
Cheese?
is a big thing for them, and they also they're a little bit of junk food junkies. I'll tell you that they love candy and stuff like that.
Do they like Italian pizza? I don't know.
Actually, they do like
Hey,
pizza, 'cause I left some out there. I left
Hey,
some
would you-
out there for them to see
yes,
if he'd take it. And oh yes, they like.
Would you
junk
like a
food.
pizza pie? I just got it from Burlington, Vermont. I went there and got the best Italian pizza pie you could. Say hello to MercuryMan. MercuryMan, hey, good to see you. Friends with Furries in the same state. Good to have you, MercuryMan. Welcome.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, we're glad to have you on here, man. Finally, it's good to meet you. This way.
Yeah, you also.
Hi, MercuryMan.
Yeah, it's been very difficult, getting up here. I have anxiety so bad, and it's funny because I'm not like that personally when I'm around people. I'm like a social butterfly, but when it's coming
yeah.
up talking to people that I really don't know that well, it's hard for me to talk. But I've had some experiences throughout my life since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
When I had been I was abducted when I was 5. And I
Yeah.
remember it very clear. Most people forget when it happens. I remember all the experiences I had up to
Yeah.
now. And on my property, lately, there's been a craft of sorts in the backwoods. It hovers down in the back of my woods.
Mhm.
And I was out there taking pictures, of it lighting up the whole back of the woods and everything. And I had an experience about 3 months ago. I have 3 dogs, and we
Hmm.
live, way out in the boonies.
Yeah, you mentioned the
And
woods. Yeah.
yeah, and so I usually let the dogs out at night 3 or 4 times, and I usually turn the outside light on. This
Hmm.
night, for some strange reason, a moth had got in the house, and I
Hmm.
forgot to turn the light on. And I opened the door to let the moth out, and I look
Yeah.
down and I see these legs,
Oh my
and
God.
it was like a gray uniform of sorts, a space, some sort of spacesuit. And I looked up,
Spacesuit.
and as I looked up, I seen a head with it was like the only way I can describe it is like a mesh over
Mesh.
the helmet on it, and it
Uh-huh.
tilted its head and looked at me, and it was right in front of me at the door.
Really?
And
And
all of a
when
sudden,
did this happen?
this happened about 3 months ago,
Really?
and I had like a shock go through my body. Like I was stunned that it was that close to me. And and instead of trying to communicate with it, I slammed the door.
Oh,
And I'm
see,
trying to lock the
oh
door,
man.
and I
Yeah.
panicked. I think I panicked. I turned the
Yeah.
outside light on, and it was gone. Well, it
Mm.
has visited me already twice. One time in my house, in my bathroom. I know it's going to sound crazy,
No, it doesn't sound
but
crazy. Go ahead.
I felt something, and I turned around, and it was the same being standing there.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it
what
kind of just took my breath
did you
away, and then it
did you
disappeared.
did you try to at least communicate with it while it was there in the bathroom of all places?
Well, I have been communicating with it for quite a long time now. Not
Really?
in, yeah. And what I said was a long time ago, I said, I'd like to see you. Why don't you come down here and let me see what you look like, And what they said to me was, I don't know if we should do that because, it may scare you to see what we look like. And I said, no,
Huh.
no, that's not going to bother me a bit. Well, it did. It kind of
Yeah.
shocked me,
What
because
did
I
they look
wasn't
like?
ready for it to be right in front of my face,
But they were on
you
a, they
know?
were wearing a spacesuit, right?
Yes.
So they had a spacesuit and they had a mesh over their face. What did they look like? Can you explain it?
They were very tall, probably
Hmm.
about 7 feet tall,
7 feet tall.
very skinny. They
Uh-huh.
were very skinny. The head was in proportion to their body, very large.
Yeah.
Um, and I've seen their ships here. I don't know how to do it now, but I will eventually. I have a file of all the things I've seen here, and I've got a picture of their ship,
Yeah.
and also other things that have appeared here that are very strange. I can't. I assume they're ships by the looks of them, the ones I've
Hmm.
seen,
Hmm.
and not to jump from one thing to the next, but I went to the spot that I go hunting, and I put up a bunch of trail cams,
Hmm.
and I told my son, I said, could you go down and pick the trail cams up in about a week? I want to see what's on the trail cams because when I'm down there, I'm getting this sense that I'm speaking to something, and so my son, not just because he's my son, but he has a very high IQ. He called me up one night and he goes, I want you to come over, Dad. You need to see this. And I went over and he said, my brain will not let me look at this and rationalize it. I can't.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I looked at it, and sure enough, it was a Bigfoot. It had walked right by my cam, turned
Yeah.
around when it flashed, and I got a picture of the whole body of it and everything walking. And
Yeah.
the leg,
And that's up in the area where I went to college. And you're in the
yes.
same town I went. So that's where I saw the UFOs back in the 70s. I thought it was a helicopter north of the campus, and there was a road there, and we were going to go and check it out, but we got kind of freaked out, and it was like a reddish object. It was hovering. I thought it was a helicopter, but it was a spaceship.
Well, there's a lot of them around here. It seems to be a hot spot. And
Yeah, it
the
is.
Bigfoot that I saw had a broken leg. You can see where it broke its leg once.
Yeah.
The way it was walking had really huge feet, stuff like that. It was just in a cone shape head. So I went down there and I hung for quite a while, probably 2 or 3 months,
Hmm.
and got to know. I went into where they live, and I
Yeah.
found out exactly where they live. They have a cave they go into, and I also saw these little places little huts that they made.
Yeah.
And so I was
Wow.
sitting by the river one day and I saw the tree shake and it just kept shaking and shaking. I could hear this
Yes.
noise. And I go,
Yes.
what is that? And so I took my camera from my phone and I took a picture at the top. And at the top, there was a juvenile sitting in the
Really?
tree. Yeah, and you could see the side view of it, that
Good.
its ear was right there. You could see how pronounced it was in the face. It was sitting up there shaking the tree. And so
Wow.
they got really comfortable with me. And I know that we all talk about things here, and I'm going to tell you why these things are happening to me. And I didn't know until later years. When I was younger, I
Yeah.
had a severe accident.
Okay.
I was climbing a fence when I was 10 years old, and my foot slipped, and the fence spoke went through my forehead,
Hmm.
and they took me off the fence. I died when I got to the hospital. They resuscitated me after a while, but during
Oh,
that
wow.
time, some strange things went on. When I came back and I healed and everything, all of a sudden I drew all these things to me. I was seeing ghosts. I was seeing UFOs. You name it, I brought it to me. My son said, we can't go anywhere without you bringing something, into
Right.
focus.
Right.
And so it's been that way all my life. I'm not afraid of it
Wow.
anymore. I was when I was younger, but as
Yeah.
I got older, I got used to all
Yeah.
the experiences I'm going
Now,
through.
now you mentioned Mercury Man that, and I know the area well, and I know there's a lot of stuff that goes on up there on the ET level because I knew when I was in college there was all kinds of stuff going on. Even though I was studying, going to classes, whatever, I knew the
Right.
area. I felt the energy. I saw there were a number of times when I saw spaceships like to the north of me, like just like a mile north of the campus on Northwood. A couple of us, we were seeing these one night. We were seeing all kinds of UFOs. We called the Plattsburgh Air Force Base from the radio station, and they said they were B-52 bombers. We knew they were lying because there's no way there would be B-52 bombers, and there was just all these like an armada of different lights, and there were no way there
Yes.
would be they were spaceships. So where he lives up in Vermont, folks, there's a lot of activity where he is. I mean, now with the Bigfoots or the Sasquatch, you saw the baby or the little one, the young one, you found where they live. Are they friendly towards you? Do they know that you're there? I mean, obviously they know
Well,
you're
they
there.
asked the first thing that they asked me was the bigger one had said to me, why are you bringing a gun with you? And I said, listen, I said, I bring a gun with me because I'm unsure of what's going to happen when I'm out here. I said there's all kinds of things out there, bears, there's this, there's that, and I always carry a pistol with me. I said I don't carry it specifically to go after anything. It's for my own protection, and that's all. I said for the most part, I'm very friendly. So I guess they kind of let their guard down after that, because when I went down there in the property, that trees would start shaking, and
Yeah.
I could hear these noises that actually sounded like almost like an orangutan. It's a straight or
Hmm.
chimpanzee. It was a weird
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
And and they knew I was there, but they never bothered me. I've never had any problems, but now they're coming up around my home,
Do,
and
do they
Okay.
that's
do they communicate with you telepathically?
I was just going
yes,
to ask that.
Oh,
yes.
isn't that amazing, Rachel? We're thinking the same thing.
One came in my bedroom one night.
I wanna
I
suggest.
was sleeping on the bed,
Eric,
and these two big red eyes
thank you
showed
so much.
up in my bedroom. And I reached on my stand and got my camera, and my wife was sleeping, and I snapped a picture of it. And it was a video. I had the video on. I thought I snapped a picture, but I actually had the video, and it showed it moving, the eyes back and forth and everything. And then I turned over and I said, whatever, went to bed. I says, have
Do,
fun.
do you have any? Do you
I,
have any? Do you have any video or pictures you can show us on the big screen here?
well, I've got pictures and stuff, but I just don't know how to put them up here yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure. I have a file of a
Yeah.
bunch of pictures that I'm
I'm
sure
not.
would
I'm not.
really interest you.
Yeah, I think because
Um,
people are saying Go ahead. Who's talking? Oh, Rachel, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask him real quick, with the being that was at the door, and you said he had like a helmet on with like a mesh over it and a
Yes.
uniform. What color was his uniform? Do you know, or
Yes. It was
was there any
gray.
kind of writing on it? What color?
It was gray.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it was just a plain uniform, nothing on it, no decals, no,
Yeah.
nothing that I could identify. Um, I had a sense that it was, I don't know how to put this in a way that makes sense. I had a sense that it was like robotic. That's how
Robotic.
I felt. Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Um. Hmm. That is
That's
so.
interesting.
I think that's interesting to say that. Now, when you saw it appear the second time in the bathroom, did it look like it was physically human or was it robotic? That's interesting.
It's
I'm really
it's really
curious.
hard to tell with the uniform on or whatever the spacesuit that they're wearing, what's under it, But on the outside, for all intents and purposes, the arms looked human, the legs looked kind of human. The head was
That's
larger in proportion to the body, like I said,
right.
but
Right. It
um,
sounds like it was human, not robotic. The thing is, if they were to take the mesh off, I'm now curious. If they took the mesh off the face, could you see anything of the face? Like, I mean, obviously the head was a little bit bigger. Did it look like? Did they have like a human mouth, a nose,
well,
eyes?
I could
Were you able to see?
see the movement behind the mesh, but I couldn't actually see the face because it was dark out.
Yeah, it was dark out. Okay.
Yeah,
Can you tell
I could
me?
see that it had face structure to it.
Yeah, and can you tell me, did they come to you? It does. I don't get any negativity from this. Do you? Were they? Did they tell you anything about where they came from? Have you You've been communicating with them. Where are they from, and what's their purpose?
The ones that I originally started with were the tall whites was the originals that I was abducted when I was a young child. As I got
Hmm.
older, it was the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians have played a big role in my life. Um, I got sick with COVID 3 times, and the first time, I felt like I was almost dying. I was in bed
Hmm.
sick, had a high fever,
Yeah.
and I asked for their help.
Hmm.
And strange as this may sound, I looked up and I seen these what looked like dark angels flying around on the ceiling. They were going in circles and in circles around and around and around. And I looked at them and I didn't have any sense of dread or fear or anything like that. The next
That's
day, the
interesting.
fever broke. I was good. I got up and I was feeling 100% better.
Wow.
It
Well,
was
that's an
just
Uh,
interesting.
strange.
I've never heard of angels like that. That's a pretty interesting
mhm.
description of. I mean, yeah, that's wild.
Now, I had two Palladians come to me about 2 years ago now, and it was a male and a female, and they were in uniform too. They were like in almost like a metallic, like blue
Hmm.
uniform, and
Yeah.
they were extremely tall. And
Mm.
the reason for them appearing to me was basically telling me that I need to get my act together and start learning what I need to learn.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any idea of what these people were, where they came from, or anything.
Mm.
And they had said that I was part of the Palladian starseed, and I started checking into this. And I mean, I had a plethora of things that were coming at me all at once, and it
Hmm.
was confusing because um I was getting images of my past lives and things like that, and it was being verified in this lifetime to me. But I
Yeah.
was wondering, with your Palladians, what did they look like to you?
Hmm.
The Palladians that I seen were more human-like. They were
Mm-hmm.
they were very human-like.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
Different color skin than what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a bluish skin. And they were tall and they had spoke to me and they said that they're directed by what they call the High Council, is what they said to me. And I asked for certain things, and they said, we're really not supposed to get involved with mankind. But with that being said, we can go to the High Council and ask them if there's certain things that are very important that you need that will help you if you're ill and things like that. And so they kind of spoke to me very calmly, peacefully. And I know I've been on their ship several times. I know that for a fact, and I always felt comfortable there. But I never did with the Greys. I hate to say it, but I totally dislike the Greys. I don't like what they represent. I just
No, you're right. You have a discernment, and you should. And you can tell. And just to let people know, this is a true story. When I first met MercuryMan, as I'm not talking to him, but in sentences here, when he came to me, when I first came on TikTok, I think it was at some point last year, you came on, found the show, and you told me the reptilians were in a cave underneath your house. Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
Could you explain what happened and what I did and what I did actually did occur, what I did for you at that point, so they know that the story of that situation, which was really, I felt it was terrible, and we did something about it. Can you explain, let people know about it now that you're talking on here, what the Ashtar Command actually did when I sent some ships up there?
I'll kind of do it in a nutshell, so it won't be too lengthy. But I will say, I live behind a mountain, and for the longest time, there was a dirt pile out with rocks and stuff out in the yard that we were going to get rid of. And every once in a while, there'd be a rumble, and those rocks would fly up in the air, and they would come back down on the ground again. And I had told my son, I said, there's something going on here. Somebody's tunneling under the ground here. I could hear them tunneling under the ground. I could literally feel it under my feet from the mountain over underneath my house. And it took a long time, but eventually they got there underneath my house. And every once in a while, the bed would shake, the floor would shake. And then they started, tormenting me, more or less. They would come around, and the dogs would get scared, and the dogs would run in the house. They would sniff in the air at them. They constantly were sniffing on the ground, always got their nose to the ground, sniffing all over the ground, which they never did before. And I tried everything, and to get rid of them, I even, kind of talked to the Pleiadians and said, look, they said, they're a problem on our planet here, your planet. They're a problem. We're trying to get rid of them. A bunch of us are trying to get them out of here. Every galaxy they go to, they raise havoc and stuff. So we're trying to get rid of them. Well, when I talked to the commander, I says, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do here to get rid of these things. And he said, I'm going to send some of my ships over, and we're going to get rid of them for you. And so when I was outside one night, I saw these two objects fly across the air. And I looked up, and they weren't that far up in the air. They stopped dead, side by side. And I got this sense, something said to me, you're not going to have to worry anymore about them, because we're going to eliminate them. We're going to get them out of here for you. After that happened, the next day I woke up. After that, I haven't had any activity here at all. None.
And he'll tell you those were the two ships, for people that don't believe this to be true. I sent two Ashtar Command ships to his location, longitude, latitude, over that area where he lives. I know the area. So I said they were up in the sky, very high up. We sent Ashtar Command personnel into the cave where the reptilians were, and we forced them out. We actually peacefully forced them out. They were outnumbered, so to speak, and they were taken off the planet and sent back to where they came from. He's never, as he will tell you right here on the show, ever since I did that with the ships and the command came there to help him, he's never, ever had any problems, ever.
No, that's, and I appreciate that. One of the things lately that's been happening is I've been taking pictures of this light in the backwoods where there's absolutely nothing for miles behind the woods, and it's been lighting up the whole back of the woods, and this has been going on now, I'd say probably a couple weeks. And so I went out there, not at night, but I went in the daytime to look, and I found foot tracks that I've never seen before because I can track, and this is of no animal I've ever seen before. The way that the feet were on it were like claws, like it's hard to explain. There's like 5 long, like long toes, and then there's
Yeah.
these claws at the end of it.
Hmm.
And so I seen them going around, and I followed them, and they went to nowhere. I mean, they just
That,
disappeared. I took pictures of them,
well,
you know.
that's weird. Hey,
But
Arlene, good to see you.
there's a lot of stuff out here.
Yeah.
Just
Amazing stories, man. I'll tell you, it's so good to have you on here finally and talk about this stuff.
thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be on. I love your show.
Oh, thank you very much.
This was really amazing, and this is what it's all about. I love this, that you're letting us hear all these experiences. I really enjoy this, and thank you for sharing all of this with us. And I hope you keep coming back with more and more and more, because I'm just like, I'm just stuck on it. I'm just gravitating. I'm listening to every word you're saying.
Well, when you see the pictures, you're going to just be blown away, because the things that I've seen out here, I have, one late night I had let the dog, they wanted to go out 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh, come on. So I went out there and I looked across the road in the woods, and there was a triangular shaped craft. There was 3 or 4 lights on the corners of them. I couldn't see the craft. I believe they were cloaking, but I got the lights. I got the pictures of the lights. They were an orange type light. And it's clear. I mean, it's close up.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can tell that it's something that should not have been there. But I take pictures of
MercuryMan, can I just interrupt for just a quick second?
Sure.
Now Annabelle is telling me that, and for those of you who don't know, Annabelle is one of my fairy protectors, and she's telling me that your property has been protected, your land has been protected, and she said that you can see it the same way that I do. So she said that one way that you can see it, the protection that's over your property, is to take a picture of the sky and then zoom in on it. Zoom in as far as you can on it with your camera, and you should be able to see like lots of little beings and things like that in your camera, and that'll show you that the beings are protecting you, and that's because of your connection now with the Bigfoot.
Yeah, interesting.
So and also one other thing I want to tell you to kind of look for, see if you have any areas in your wood that are like surrounded by circles of trees. Like say you see a circle of trees and you see like almost like a bald spot in the middle of it, like nothing really grows in there. And that might be because you have a landing area in your woods for the ETs to be coming to.
Well, that's
Mercury,
interesting, because I had
do you have a place like that?
I do.
Well,
yes.
MercuryMan, do you have a place like that?
There's a few spots out in the woods that I've seen like that where it stays the same and nothing ever grows there.
Those are areas.
And
now,
go ahead.
If you blow this picture up in the corner, in the right hand corner, this is what was flying over my house. There were 3 of them. 2 of them, the 2 had the pinkish purple light on it. I don't know if you can see the corner of it, but it had that band going around it of those lights. And then the 3rd one had white lights.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get the other picture up.
Yeah, I saw the purple one. This is Encounters, the late night UFO talk show, right here.
Let me see if I can get the other one up.
And please show your support. Thank you for all the gifts that you've been doing. If you haven't gifted, please gift.
Yes, thank you for the gifts, guys.
And we would really like to thank MercuryMan for sharing his awesome story. But I would like to add and as well ask the commander how the correlation in the Galactic Federation is. Because I was told that, for example, Jesus was a long time at the Pleiades. But in some other research I did, I found out that Jesus might have been an Arcturian being connected to the collective. As myself being connected to the Arcturian collective, I think that the Galactic Federation is being consisted of 400,000 star races right now, correct? So
Correct.
as far as I know, the Arcturians are the mothers of the Pleiades, but I'm not sure about that. I would just like to ask and
I
put it on.
would just say that, like I said, each grouping of galactic beings are all, they work together, but they're separate, beautiful beings of light. The Arcturians, the Pleiadians, they're all separate beings, just like the constellations in Sirius. They're all, they're separate spiritual beings of light, but they all collectively work in a galactic level. So when I talked about the Ashtar Command represents all the different galactic groupings of light, basically, just to put it in perspective. It's like having a United Nations, a galactic United Nations. You have all these countries. Think of it that way. You have all these different galactic civilizations working together.
Yes, they call it the Galactic
Thank you so much for the
Federation.
confirmation.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Pretty much what they call it.
And the Ashtar Command oversees all those federations. As a matter of fact, they're all connected to the Ashtar Command. It's like having how to put it in Earth terms, it's like having a White House, but not having a White House. It's like not the same as on Earth. It's like the overseeing body of all the different levels of light that are working in connection with the oneness of God and God's love for God's creation of everything in the multiverse, all in Christ consciousness too.
Well, the people that are star children on this planet, and which are most of us here anyway, collectively they're opening up and channeling our brains to a higher consciousness, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. Most of you are already feeling it. And there are those that don't. There are those that are very closed-minded, and it doesn't affect them in one way or the other. But most of us, it's happening right now. This is a big time in our history of them saying, I'm not going to listen to your leaders. Right. We're going to be in contact with you.
Right. That's exactly what's happening. And, if I had to write a book about it, this show could be documentation of that happening, without me laughing or anything. You already know, all of you watching this show, exactly what MercuryMan is saying is true. And I'm talking about no channeling, just with Gonico, for example. But let's go with Rachael Learn. She is showing us some stuff, and maybe you can narrate what you're showing us.
Like I said, on this, this was like at 3:00 in the morning. I was letting my dogs out, and
Thank you, Kit Kat.
I took and seen I seen these things moving kind of not fast, but not slow either, at a pace. They were down low. This was like literally over the roof of my house. I want to say the craft was, I have like a little Fiat car, and the craft was probably twice the size of my Fiat car. I ran back inside to get my phone so I could take a picture of it. And like I said, they had these lights underneath it and going around it. And there was like spaces in between where the lights were, and two of them were like the reddish purplish color, and then the last one had white around it. And there were three of them. There were no sounds.
It sounds like a shuttlecraft, from the larger ship. They usually come down and they will check out things. They usually come down, they'll drop a few lights here and there. It's almost like a grid search that they do, and there's quite a few of those.
Yeah, it didn't have, there was no sound from any of them. It didn't even bother my dogs. With as low as it was, it didn't even bother the dogs at all. They didn't look up. They didn't hear nothing. When they flew over my neighbors and our house, there was no sound, no nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. I didn't even feel a breeze from them.
And Rachel, Dave is asking in the audience here, can we see the pics? The pictures. Your pictures? This is the original picture. There's a little purple thing in the picture I can see.
Yeah.
Do you have other pictures that are?
Let me see if I can get the other one.
Yeah, some people asking about your pictures.
Let me see if I can get the other. There's one, but it's. Let me see. There's one that is like. I gotta go way down in here. I should pull them up.
Yeah, that'd be good. I remember, as you're doing that, I remember all the good times I had up in that Plainfield area, and there was a. Go ahead.
This one's a little bit darker, but this one's a little bit, but that's where it's coming towards the house.
Okay, which is the thing we're looking at? The two specks. There's two specks of light there. Can you explain that?
Right. Yep, and that's what it is. It's the those lights would like blink around it, and then it was just coming over the house, and then the other one came after it, and then the one with the white around it came after those two.
Okay.
Rachel, when you seen those, did you just see the lights and the ship was cloaked?
Nope, I seen the underneath of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yep, and it was more, I didn't feel afraid of what I was seeing. I was more just in like, did I just see that? Oh my God,
Right.
did I just see that?
Right.
Did I just, and seriously, when it came across, and this is how low they are. If I would have been up on my roof on top of like a really tall ladder, I could have probably jumped up and touched the underneath of it.
Wow, that's crazy. That is low. I mean, that's like
that's how low they were.
They're coming in real low.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that experience.
You know, you're setting off signals in your brain. I mean, even unconsciously, we do that. You know, we'll sit there and we'll communicate with them, even if you're laying there watching a show or something. Your brain's thinking about it. You're thinking of, what's going to happen tonight? I wonder,
Well, I can attest to that. I always wonder what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
I took and posted a video on TikTok, and I don't know if Commander's seen it. I think Down the Rabbit Hole did, and a few other people.
Okay.
Where there was a round spear of light, a ball of light that was going across the sky at a pretty good clip, and then all of a sudden, and I filmed it, and I'm like, what in the world is that? And it wasn't blinking. It was just a round ball of light at night, and it was going across the sky on the back side of our house. And then all of a sudden, you can hear a helicopter chasing right after it.
Yeah, of course they would chase it.
Color with the spear.
Yep, they were following it.
Did it have a color?
It was white. It was just pure white.
Just white. Okay.
And we're on the East Coast here, so we're gonna go to 12:45. I'm trying to discipline myself, which is not always easy. It's really tough because I love what we're doing here, but I want to be able to go to sleep before 1 so I don't wake anybody up in the other room. So we're going to be on here to 12:45, which is good. An hour and 40. We started at 11. Yeah, so an hour and 45 minutes of broadcasting. That's longer than Johnny Carson, who was only on for I don't remember how long he was on, but it's longer than most talk shows on TV. Except for Good Morning America. I think those people are on doing their crazy stuff for 2 hours, whatever. But they have commercials. We don't. And matter of fact, we're better than they are. So, so we love our discussion here. As we're I want to get people to try to get us over 50,000, get all the taps going, everybody involved. I wanted to get to 100,000, but we're not going to make it. That's okay. If we do at least over 50,000 likes, that's good. Everybody's tapping. No tapping going on here. I like getting people activated and motivated. So if you've not been tapping, start tapping that phone right now. You got that phone there, tap it, tap, 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 tap. That's also ET language calling tap, 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 and light, tap, tap. Just
Hey,
kidding.
Commander,
But
I'm going to
yeah,
see if I can send you the pictures so you can
yeah.
show them on here.
Oh yeah, if you send me pictures, I'll definitely show them.
Okay.
I'll put them on. I'll do it. I'll definitely do it.
All right.
And
Sounds.
so I really I want to thank all my guests. We had Jennifer in here, Diana, just so many beautiful people. Rachel's here. And I want to get myself back up on the screen here. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, I'm going to expand myself. Here we go. And I really want to thank all the beautiful people here for being on the show, all of you watching the show. This show has taken off since last year and has been the #1 spiritual UFO talk show, bridging the gap, any social media. I don't care how famous these people are at UFO conferences that are being speakers. Someday maybe they'll let me speak at a UFO conference about the Ashtar Command and about all the beautiful beings of light. And I know all the conferences, and I'd love to be able to somehow next year get to do that. So I want everyone to have I'm going to bring up let's see, who am I going to bring up here? Things are happening, folks. I'm in a situation here, and you're not. For people that don't realize it, I am so sensitive to everything with these earbuds on. I can hear everything right now. I can hear so many things right now on a galactic level. Could you imagine being me? Can you imagine being me? That would be kind of weird. Hey, I think someone's coming up from a rabbit hole in the inner earth.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Commander is back, and this is Encounters.
Hello, Commander. I'm James. How you doing? See, I'm actually James. He's actually CmdrAleon.
No role playing in here.
Okay.
Hi, James.
I don't want to get him
What
confused.
a great show tonight.
I mean, it's been amazing. The stories, and I used to live in Plainfield, Vermont, where MercuryMan is, and I can tell you, I'd walk from one side of the campus to the other late at night, and I would feel like I was being watched. I mean, I don't know if by extraterrestrials or Bigfoot, but I knew I was being watched. And I'd go down this one trail to the other campus. I'd walk as quickly as I could to get to the other side because I wasn't sure what was going to happen,
If the people around here knew the population, of the Bigfoots that live here, they probably would move.
They probably would. I'm telling you, they probably would.
And where he lives, MercuryMan, I used to live there in the 70s when I was on campus. It's a small town. It's a nice Plainfield's nice little town. I think there was like a country store there, and there was a place where you can get some food to eat. And it's just a small little town,
It is.
I
moved. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I moved from Connecticut. I spent 19 years. I was born there in New Britain, Connecticut. And I moved back in 1980 to Vermont. And I'll tell you, it was a culture shock to to live in the country after city boy. But I adjusted.
I thought you lived in Vermont all your life. I didn't realize that.
No, I grew up in Connecticut.
Okay, wow.
MercuryMan, I'm a California girl myself, so I imagine how I felt coming here.
See, I just really thought the both of you were from Vermont all your lives. You don't sound like you're from anywhere else.
No.
Well, I can tell you, I originally came from Mars, but I'm living in Connecticut.
Yeah. that was witty.
Something, growing up in New England, we grew up in the mountains. I mean, like, we were in the mountains. We were surrounded by mountains. My father used to have to take and build roads for the town there, and he used to have to use dynamite and stuff to build roads to go up through into the mountains. And us kids used to go on the backside of a place called Tunk Lake in New England and in Sullivan, Maine. and we used to have to run through the forest. And I remember
Mm.
us kids all talking and saying that, did you feel creeped out running through the, did you feel like you could hear something running after you?
Yeah.
And we did. We did.
Yeah.
We would hear something like in the forest running after us. And at the time, oh my, don't even get me started when my sister went to the first Bigfoot movie that was in town. She took and went
Oh,
with one
wow.
of her friends, and she came back, and I don't think we went swimming all that summer. We were so freaked out. We were so
See,
Yeah.
I'm
freaked
telling
out.
you, Hollywood, they
Yeah.
lie, they lie.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
lie, they lie. They get people scared of these beings and they just want to be left alone. They just want to live their little bit
Yeah.
best Bigfoot
You know.
lives, you know?
So,
Eddie
and
Cream Cheese.
we're getting to 12:45, so I'm going to try to discipline myself. It's going to be really hard to do this, folks, because I love everybody here and I want to stay here, but I got to get to sleep too on the East Coast
Be
here.
disciplined.
I'm really going to, James, try to discipline myself here now.
And the
And I'm
bunny comes in, and the bunny goes out.
No, I know.
So
No, Commander knew I was busy. I was on assignment tonight.
it was on Sonata,
Oh,
yeah. And I will say this: potentially, we will have someone that we used to have on here, and James is working on that. So we're going to leave it up to him. He knows what I'm talking about. And other than that, we love everybody. I want to let everybody have a final say, and potentially, if we can have, I'm thinking. I'm going to telepathically send this message right now and see if I'm going to see if my telepathy works. So I'm sending a message. Give me a minute. Okay, I sent the message. We'll see if this happens. I'm going to have Rachel give her final words, and then we'll go to
What did
down the
you
rabbit hole.
do?
You know what just happened? I'm I'm telepathic. I didn't do anything.
You
yeah, no,
did.
he took and told him not to mess with anybody.
I didn't say anything. You say I didn't. Did I say anything? Did I verbally speak?
I heard you telepathic.
I am telepathic. I've always told people that, right?
Mm-hmm. Just I want to say good night to everybody, and thank you for listening to me, and thank you to all the other guests that came up and told their encounters of what they've experienced. It was awesome
Yes.
as always. I always enjoy coming in here, and thank you again for listening, and thank you again for coming up and letting us all hear your experiences. They were amazing, and good night, everybody.
And
Good
good night,
night.
Rachel. You've been amazing too.
Thank
And
you.
so we're going to this here, and we'll pass it over to MercuryMan. It's been amazing. Your stories were amazing, man. And what last minute words would you like to share?
I would just like to say that people who, like us, who are in contact and who have a high consciousness, to a sensitivity to the beings that are out there and stuff, just keep up the good work, talk to them, um, encourage them, to come more and not be so far away and not to listen,
Mm-hmm.
to our leaders on this planet. Listen to
Yeah.
the people who really matter. That's
Yeah.
us.
That's us.
And I just think we all should, just keep our minds open and be in tune to what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're always invited, MercuryMan, to join us on our panels here because your
Thank
stories are ongoing. Your experiences are ongoing. You kidding me? Yeah, absolutely. So, MercuryMan, everyone say hello to MercuryMan. Say goodnight to MercuryMan. We thank you, man. We love you for coming on here and sharing some really interesting stories with us. Very
Thank you. I
much.
enjoyed
Mercury
it.
Man, and get in touch with me, Mercury Man. I think we've got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, you two definitely get in touch with each other.
Only if I can get
All
a
right.
brick of cheese.
Only
All right. And that's
I'm just kidding.
and that's MercuryMan. And now we're going to go to down the rabbit hole. Any final words for my brother down in Florida?
Yeah, everybody make sure you send Commander all the messages to remind him to send me the dang video that we planned out today. Commander and I had a production conversation.
And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to tell my daughter about it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're gonna get this video going.
Yeah.
And I'm real tonight was a good show. I'm really happy we had some good encounter stories.
Yeah, we really did.
And it was really good. If I wasn't being chased by UFOs, I would have been on the show.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're a rabbit, so you can hop away from them.
No, I was trying to. I was sitting outside the military base trying to get some documentation. I'm out of state
he was.
right now.
He actually was. Well, he's actually saying he's out of state, but he's off planet. I didn't want to say anything, James.
Sometimes I just wish we were all off planet and we
Well, we are. You are. Disclosure is telling people that James is off planet right now. He's not in another state. He's in another state of consciousness, but that's something else.
Ooh, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
I'm going to sleep tonight, Commander. Good night, everybody.
Good night. And
Good
before James, good night. But before Friends of Furries goes, give me a second here. Give me one moment. Don't anybody do anything. Hold on, please.
No, I'm shutting it off.
No, don't do that. No. Don't do that, please. I'm just being I'm being telepathic. Hold on, please. Did you know I'm telepathic?
You're not doing it to me.
We love you so much.
I love you guys. Good night.
She can't just go. She just left. I gotta go too. But you did hear Katy Perry. And you know where that song came from? For those that are still here, who didn't believe I'm telepathic? I didn't say a word, did I? Everyone in here, I didn't say anything. Then Katy Perry starts singing. Why do you think that happened? Because the commander is telepathically communicating. You see? It works. Telepathy does work. Whoever knew? All right, I'm going to try to shut myself galactically off here on a lot of levels so I can go to sleep. If anything happens on your electronic devices, your TVs tonight or tomorrow, please do not blame me or blame anybody. Okay? Just understand, you're not funny. Just understand it's all good. And April, have a good sleep. Get some rest. We enjoyed having you on here. Everybody out there, we'll see you tomorrow night for another edition of Encounters. It's time to go to sleep. Time for all of us on the East Coast. Well, I don't know how many people are going to sleep, but we're going to go to sleep. This has been Encounters, the late night UFO talk show, and it's just before 1. I just might make it off planet. You think? All right, folks, take care. Have a good day tomorrow. It's going to be Wednesday, and that's the big day. Everybody look for spaceships of light. Look for spaceships of light tomorrow night or during the day. Meditate, connect, do your thing. Bye-bye.